Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Daniel Olabode. Our guest for this episode is Aryan Chavda, a trader, property investor, and entrepreneur. The good kind of entrepreneur. Aryan and I went to the same secondary school before I had to move schools due to a situation that kind of got out of hand. I'll probably end up telling you about this story at some point in time. While we were at the same secondary school, I saw Aryan to be one of the most genuine people in our year group, as well as a good friend. He was very much into martial arts back then, and I see that focus and discipline has grown with him. I hadn't hung out with Aryan since I left Bishop Stopford in 2010. His absence from social media made it all the more difficult, but recently he started showing up online, and based off the content that he posts, I began to understand why it was necessary for him to ghost for so long. Aryan has been trading, investing, and learning how to use his money wisely, surrounding himself with people who he can learn from, as well as those who can positively impact his goals and life. His story is an interesting one, and he is an example of a person who takes the initiative to build his own future. His focus and discipline, as well as the knowledge that he provides in this episode, can be motivating for those who want to get into trading, investing, or those who want to make their money work for them. When I was a teenager, we were essentially told that it was necessary to go to university to be successful, but we weren't really told why this was the case, or that there were more than just one way to get a successful life, whatever your personal definition of a successful life is. I noticed that many people just went to university, took on the debt, and not really know what they wanted out of it. I personally did know what I wanted out of university, as I saw the course I took not as a degree, but as a path to knowledge. Being able to be sustainable and financially independent does not require a degree, but it does require a desire to learn and grow and change into the potential you see in yourself. University can be the place for this to happen, as it was for me, but we must understand that it's not necessarily the place for this to happen. What is necessary is a creativity to see and take opportunities, to take risks, and to make the most out of your situation, whatever your situation is. We should never stop learning, whether that happens to be in education or even using the same technology you're using to listen to this podcast. Understanding the cost and benefit of a given situation can help us make good decisions and allow us to take the right kind of risk. We all have dreams and aspirations. We see our potential in our mind's eye and imagine the steps required to reach that potential. Some will say, if only this happened, or if only I could do this. I say, make it happen. Learn how to do it. In reality, to transform from who you are now to who you want to be requires work, struggle, and pain. It requires sacrifice. To transform into what you want to be means that you will lose a part of who you are now. We should not be put off by this though, else we stay stagnant and unchanging in our flawed selves. We aren't gods that can be perfect, but we are humans that have the potential to do great things. So we must, in the words of Aryan, find our hustle, so we can know the good that we can do. You can follow Aryan on his Instagram page at Aryan Chavda 0602. The link will be in the description. You can follow him as he documents his journey. You can also follow his eBay Instagram page at ADC_inventory to check out his latest sales. Do support the podcast by liking and sharing it with your friends, and you can subscribe to be up to date on future episodes and clips that will be uploaded. Now, I give you Aryan Chavda. Awesome. Okay. Hey, thank you, Aryan. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you.
Dan. Like, it's good to see you. It's been years, like we were just saying.
Yeah, it's like 6 years.
6+ years, man.
Yeah.
6+ years.
Last time I saw you was in year 10 when
It was year 10. I saw some teacher escorting you off the premises.
it was for much ado or nothing as well. Like
Yeah.
But it's good to see you here. Like the reason why I wanted to get you on the podcast is because like not only was this like a good reunion, but like I've been seeing some of your posts on Facebook recently about managing money and making money work for you, and that really, I feel that that message is quite important for a lot of people, especially people our age. Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you a bit about that and get to know like what made you to go into that path and to talk to people about managing their money and sharing your knowledge with them.
Well, it was kind of an accidental thing. Anyone who knows me knows I was into the whole fitness background. So reason why, looking back now, the reason why I got into that was because of financial issues in regards to family. So those of you who remember me from secondary school, the times where I didn't go to your parties, etc., was because there was no money to go to those parties. So the only thing I could do was work out in a bedroom. So really, that's where my career path, I was kind of forced/led onto it, because obviously I enjoyed it. That's the main thing. But it was really because that's all I could do. So that's all I knew at the time. So working in the gym for 3 + 4 years, working your way up kind of thing. And you just kind of realize that there's more to life. Like you later on realize in regards to finances that there's more to life than just, fitness, and in regards to the money you're making, is your time worth the amount you're earning and so on. So that's just the basic. This is raw footage, guys, by the way. This is raw. This is just coming out. But yeah, it's just from realizing in a way that I'm worth more. Yeah. I know to some people that might sound like BS. That might sound vague. It might sound vain. But at the end of the day, people have to remember, for my job that I was doing at the time, most of the time I was spent picking up bloody 50-kilo dumbbells off the floor, only for about 5 minutes after for gym members to throw them back on the floor. Not to mention managing a gym by myself and one cleaner, and then before working my actual shift, which was 2 p.m. to 11 p.m, coming in to personal train clients for that extra income. The main thing I was doing wrong there was giving up time for money. Now, knowing what I know now, the streams of revenue I have, I don't need to necessarily work for anyone else, should I choose to. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was really just, it's a lot of information to kind of just, pinpoint, but this is just a massive overview and just understanding, your own financial situation and what you can do and using the resources. Like, this is like the main thing I've been saying to people, is there's never a lack of money, there's only a lack of creativity. That's my main message, especially to my team, like those who work with me on the property side. That's my main, when I show them that this is how you can make money, their eyes is shocked. They're shocked. Like, I could show you right now on my phone, just from getting the details of a seller, their address, and the reason why they're selling their property, having made over £100 just from that, and just selling it to an investor. But these are obviously, that's a very generic side. This is specifically property, but there are other ways you can make money. So like we briefly spoke about at the start, Instagram, advertising yourself on Instagram. I know some people are doing it already, but some people aren't. They have a business and they're wondering why they're not making any money, and it's because you're positioning. Like earlier today, as I was running late, from the gym, a lady was sitting outside. We're kind of going off topic here, but this is raw. Yeah. But a lady was sitting outside Audi, begging people for money. I'm really sorry, but your positioning is shit. You've come to, do you try and understand what I'm saying here? You're in a low economic area. Let's face facts, like where we are, it's a low economic area. Obviously, for me personally, this is where I really see people who are driven. But putting that fact aside, you're in a low economic area. You're outside Audi begging people for money, where people are coming to Audi to save money. Yeah. Your positioning is absolutely shit. If you had got off your ass, walked all the way to central London, went outside, say for example, London Stock Exchange, different story. You might get thrown away by the security, but at least your positioning is much better. So it's just understanding, well, I've kind of gone on a rant here. It's just understanding literally, one, what you're worth, what you plan to do about your situation. I mean, for those of you who are happy to work a 9 to 5 and, have the weekends off, look forward to Fridays every week, that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to impose what I know onto you. This is for, what I'm saying is for people who want to change their lives because they're sick and tired of working that 9-to-5 job or working for someone else. Yeah.
So why what is it about well, I have there's so many angles I could target, but I was like, why
Throw it at me, man.
So what is it about what you've learned that makes it why should people listen to you, in like what have you experienced from your time from just being working at the gym and then to who you are now that makes your experience valuable?
Really, I don't really care if people listen to me or not. At the end of the day, I'm in a situation that I want to be in because I've got myself there. Don't get me wrong, my life there's still stresses, there's still family issues, there's still all of that involved, but in terms of career-wise and working for myself, like for me, that's a blessing. Like I remember the days having to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning for a 6 a.m. shift and then finishing at 3 and not having time after to do what I want because I'm just so knackered. So for those of you who want to take on board what I'm saying, what I'm trying to, in a way, suggest is start your own business. So take, for example, you guys here doing this podcast. This is still something. This is your baby. This is your business. Nurture it, care for it, to make the most out of it. Especially for guys in our age. Most guys, we go to uni, and we expect to get a job. You know what I mean. Our parents say go to school, get a job, go to university. You go to university, you'll get the job that you've always wanted. I'm sorry, there's some people from our year who are seeking job seekers, and they went to university. For me, the whole concept of university is, it's there to keep the order of things. It's there to maintain the norm. It's there to stop people. In a way, it's there to make people lazy. That's the way I see it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know you've been university.
No. I don't. I'm not trying to say, take offense to it. I think generally speaking, I feel a large amount of people who go to university, sometimes they just go because they don't really know what they want to do. It's it's the next stage from I went to college, I went to sixth form. Okay, go to university. That's what we're taught. Go to university, graduate, get married, have kids, have the job you want. But I feel the only time it's because of how much of an investment university is, you really need to know what you want to do.
9K fees? Yep.
Exactly. So I can only speak for ourselves. For the particular course that we took, we both me and Anand, we studied visual effects for TV and film, and we studied that at the University of Hertfordshire. And for me, the reason why I chose to go to university because of the fact that if I go to university to study this, I'm going to learn visual effects and 3D at a high quality, because Hertfordshire is the best in the UK or maybe in Europe for what it teaches, and its connections are outstanding, because we have connections with MPC, Framestore, all these big effects companies. But that was the main decision to why to go to university, because from that, and then what can I gain from that? After graduating, I have the tools, I have the knowledge to then do what I want. Of course. So
bear in mind, what I'm saying, it's not to knock on people going to university. At the end of the day, we still need the doctors, we still need the lawyers and so on. But if you're just going there to wing it, I mean, I know people who have spent 9K to basically party the whole time and then rock up to their lectures 2 hours late, so to speak. So if you're one of those people, then maybe listen to what I'm saying. But by all means, don't get me wrong, I'm not there to completely knock people, because at the end of the day, I came from a background where my mum told me not to go to university because she just wanted me to get a job just so I can pay off her bills. So I'm not completely knocking off people from going to university. I'm just saying, as soon as you can, find out what you want to do. Ideally that would be my message to people. Is, I mean, people spending time on Facebook's getting the value out of them, they're not getting the value out of Facebook. So people will spend their time on Facebook. You could be advertising your business on Facebook rather than you just scrolling through people. Oh, look, we went out last night, blah blah blah, posting drunk selfies of themselves and so on. Get the value of what you're doing. That I would say, that's what I would say to that. Is understand that there are so many options people have. University isn't one of them. Getting a job isn't one of them. Like starting your own business again isn't. There's so many.
Like you're saying, like you mentioned residual income.
Yes.
And I think that's really important in this day and age. I don't think, and I think you agree that there's no way that we can like have sustainable lives. There's just one job. There's like even with that one job, if you're working for someone else, that's definitely not going to be sustainable in the long run. Where if we have like multiple
people think a job is secure. My friend who's 20 got made redundant
20?
from a digital marketing agency. Not even a bank or anything, like a digital marketing agency at 20. I'm quite thankful it happened to her. She's family to me. But I'm quite thankful it happened to her so that way she can realise no job is secure, anything can happen. So this is why investing in yourself and investing in the time to create other streams of income. I don't care if it's eBay. Obviously, let's talk legal, yeah? If I know there's some guys 20 plus, if you're still shotting weed down the road, please sort your life out.
Wait until it's legal.
Yeah, wait until it's legal. Like, but in terms of like legality, that's what I mean. So starting your own eBay business, like buying low and selling high, that's one of the main concepts. Hopefully we'll touch on that a little bit more. But
because you have like an African boy.
So for example, my background, when I basically decided, okay, I'm leaving the fitness industry now, I'm going to go into the banking industry. As I left, everything was handy dandy, everything was going good. They'd accepted my application, I'd made it through, I'd got the job. And then boom, UK government decides we're going to hit you with a banking stress test. So what did they do? Any applications were closed, basically cancelled. Some staff were laid off from the banks just so they can meet that criteria. Reason being, if there was another financial crisis, for those of you who are familiar with 2008, if that happened again, how would the banks cope? So they literally closed off my position as I had left my job. So straight away, I was thrown into what you'd call the entrepreneurship type of route. So I was just thrown into it, and it was just, fortunately, I had already started investing my money. And in other words, trading, and I'll touch on that a little bit more. But so that was fortunate. I was fortunate enough that I had that income coming in. But obviously now, rather than seeing it as, okay, it's a problem now, I need to go and get a job straight away, a new job, apply, etc. Why don't I start something else? So I literally started on eBay. So I thought, okay, you know what? Let's kill two birds with one stone. Let's leverage my time. Let's get rid of some of the stuff in the house. So literally just started selling some stuff from the house, taking photos, listing it on eBay. Now I'm at the point where my 10-year-old neighbour Deji does that for me, and I pay him, and because he's a little kid, bless him, if there's anything he wants, we just take it from his salary from the week. He gets paid £100 per week.
So what kind of things do you sell now? Like you start selling
literally
stuff
it's anything I can get my hands on. It doesn't matter what it is. A good thing about my eBay business specifically, and bear in mind that's not my only business, is that it's generic. Like it can be anything. Like these cameras here, mate, if you don't need any of them, like hand them to me, I'll flog them and give you 50-50, but it's literally anything. So fortunately I haven't limited myself with just one type of product. It ranges from toys, clothes, home accessories, comic books, etc. List can go on, like tech items. So I've got that range. Luckily with my house there's like 20 years of stuff and then even then some of that money I've earned, I'd reinvest it back into the business. How? Finding local shops that have stuff on discounts, or going to the Tottenham car boot sale that they have outside the community centre, buying low, again, selling high. I showed one of my colleagues from my property side, I sold a Dragon Ball Z figure that I bought for £5 for £20. After fees and everything, okay, let's say £17 profit in total. So that's just another avenue.
So so you have like, so now you've talked about your property. There's so many streams of revenue that you're getting. You have like your eBay. You have your trading. You also talking about your property.
Yes.
Like, is there any more? Like, what else do you do?
Really, I've kind of set my challenge of starting something new at least once a month. So
a month, okay.
Yeah, so potentially, if you do the math, 12 businesses potentially. Obviously, don't get me wrong, some will just completely fail. Yeah. But I'm sorry, you have to. You have to fail.
And it's going to be some to like varying degrees of like attention. So,
In a way, for me, it's just exploring what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
In terms of like, intelligence, like whatever, exploring that side. How far can I push it? What can I create, etc., etc. I'm kind of I've kind of laid back off the idea of starting new business because running free is enough as it is. Like, it's quite hectic, but I'm enjoying them at the same time, so it's not a real urgency to start something new. So the whole trading thing, anyone who wants to get into trading, please, like, do your research. Make sure the money that you have, you can, as silly as it sounds, afford to lose, because that is something serious. I mean, banking interest rates will give you what, maximum 3 to 5%, maybe only for 1 year. And I know some of this stuff, for those who are listening, this might be like, oh, this doesn't matter. Trust me, it will. When in terms of getting your money to work for you, these are things you have to know. Whether it's for yourself, for your family, your kids in the future. How do you plan on retiring if you don't know this stuff? So do you expect the government to provide your pension for you? I mean, I'm sorry, I think the average person retires with 30,000 at the age of 65. 30,000.
See,
maximum, the average salary here is what? No, that wouldn't even cover 2 years. So 30,000 to retire on. This is where you kind of have to create your own. This is why I'm saying you have to create your own streams of income. You have to sort out your own pension. So my own investment fund initially is my own pension fund. So I don't take an income from that now, unless I really, really need to. But to be honest, I don't. It's as simple as that. I don't touch that money. So that money that's in there, whether it's taking a percentage from my eBay, from the property side, or from whatever I saved up from working at the gym, is invested into businesses, stocks, currencies, commodities. Again, if you don't know what those are, look into it.
Yeah.
Like, this is stuff you need to know. Again, going back to what we were saying earlier in regards to banking interest rates, maximum you'll get is 5% for a year on a max limit of what, £1,500 saved up. That's nothing. When if you invest your money potentially in property or trading / investing in stocks, your return is pretty much in a way infinite if you think about it.
Like, I really like this, the fact that you are taking initiative to like create your own streams of revenue, because you're like, I feel maybe it might be over. I might be blowing it out of proportion, but I feel there's a tendency for people to rely on the government to provide for them and to give them what they need. When in the truth of the matter is, like, the only person that can really do that for you is yourself. So taking the initiative to find out what you can do and then create those streams of revenue to do that.
You watched my Facebook live video, right? There's a massive difference with people in, say, North London compared to those in Kensington. Now, people here might call them rich bastards, fat cat, etc., etc. But in a way, it's the mindset that they have. People here expect. They don't give. They just straight away, they want something. People in Kensington, well, obviously, don't get me wrong, you'll get bad people on both sides. But the majority of them, they give. And then they get
from your experience as well. So
so of course, so without a doubt, because I'm bouncing between the two. Like, before I met you, I told you I know my way around Central London more than I know North London, and I practically live in North London, which is weird. But it's, in a way, it's just a mindset. It really comes down to mindset. Even on my Facebook video, I gave an example of if you were to hop on a train, so jump on the Victoria line from Seven Sisters, listen to the conversations going on. After that, switch over to the Central line. Listen to the conversations that are going on. Seven Sisters, you'll hear young kids or people our age, fam, innit, that girl was trying to smash, blah, blah, blah. Central line, you start hearing things like, interest rates, retirement, pension funds, mutual funds, investing in this. You'll see the newspapers start suddenly change from, from the Sun, and then when you're on the Central line to bloody, Financial Times. There's a difference. To think that the government's trying to keep you in your place, or anyone else for that matter, at the end of the day, you're in control of your life. Like, I said this to my mum, believe it or not, and obviously because my mum's like suffering from all kinds of things. At the end of the day, you have that power to change your position. Like, you can't expect anything from the government. I mean, being reliant on the government, I mean, come on now, it's 21st century, it's 2017. Like, sort your own pension out, especially for those of you who are young. Get started, research, like, don't buy into all this BS that, put your money in here and we'll give you this in return, etc., etc. Do your own research, do your own work.
think people would probably hear that, and some would say as a devil advocate, it's easy to say that like not everyone's in a position to like do what they want. Like some people do need the government to provide for them at least to get that start or whatnot.
Then I would say to that, leverage off that. For example, you went to university, right? Were you on student loan?
Yeah.
How much were you getting?
I think altogether it was like, I didn't get a lot. I think it was like 3,500 altogether.
In 1 year?
Yeah, and I was cut up into first semester, second.
I assume you had to pay rent and everything.
Yeah.
And I assume some of it was spent to go out.
Yeah, like some of it, but not all. Yeah.
See, so what I would say is, even if you're on job seekers allowance, etc., don't get me wrong, some people's situations will vary and you will need to rely on the government, but at the end of the day, that's no excuse to just get comfortable. It's to really leverage yourself from what you're getting.
Yeah.
Again, there's never a lack of money, there's only lack of creativity. So being resourceful with what you have. Yes, some people will vary. So your situation, and I say this to guys and people like our age who from our year basically, who I run into and speak to, and I ask them, so how much were you getting? They'd tell me this and this. How much did you invest? 0. So what you basically could have got, you could have doubled your money, you could have tripled your money, depending on how many years it's taken. So again, it's just being resourceful.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, without a doubt, again, this is coming from a guy who picked up weights for like 3 plus 4 years and had to put them back on a rack for some gym members to knock them back on the ground and not, do you know what I mean? Again, if we want to dig deeper, like, for Christ's sake, my family would go into McDonald's and take a whole bunch of tissues. And that would save us £5-10 a month. Like, come on, guys. Like, there's no excuse. Like, don't get me wrong, my family's not perfect. Like, I could say I was spoiled. I was spoiled growing up, but I'd imagine any parent would want to spoil their kid growing up. But then I noticed now, looking back at the family history and when things happened, as soon as that financial crisis hit at 2008, boom, things changed. Like, family started losing job. We've faced eviction 3-4 times now. So I know my situation isn't as bad as other people's, but everyone has that negative force in their life. Like, everyone faces some kind of obstacle. I mean, the day my dad died, he literally told me like he'd given up on me and like, literally wanted to have an abortion. I mean, for fuck's sake, he was on his deathbed. Like, my mum facing massive depression and stress because of her mortgage issues overseas back in Philippines, literally told me I'd never succeed because of an argument that we'd had. I mean, come on, guys. Like, when you've got your parents telling you that they don't believe in you and what you're doing, etc. When I left my job at the time, the first thing my mum recommended was to go job seekers, because she's comfortable with that notion of having a job. If you have a job, you're just over broke. J-O-B.
Yeah.
So that would be my point in that. I mean, yes, people's situations do vary, but there's always something you can do with it, and it starts off by changing your mindset.
Isn't it? Yeah, not being satisfied with your current situation, always looking for ways to improve it, and that takes creativity. Is that you don't have to have millions in the bank or be like this ingenious inventor. Just being able to understand what your situation is and seeing how do I leverage it, or and that's what true creativity is, in a way. It's like seeing your situation, manipulating your situation and getting what you want out of it.
Exactly, without a doubt.
So I completely agree with that. I guess I wanted to also talk to you about like a bit more, get a bit of a better understanding on trading and seeing like what, because
I'm glad you're saying this, because on Friday I'm meeting up with a couple of people, to other investors basically who have other investment backgrounds in business and property but haven't touched trading at all. So if anything, this is kind of a reminder for me of what I plan to talk about. But in short, in the most basic way, if you're looking to have your money work for you, trading is one of the ways. Let me just point that out. Trading is one of the ways. Again, you'd have to understand the risks. I mean, I can sit here forever talking to you about the risks, but in short, you could potentially lose all your money if you're stupid with it. Now, let me say this. You will see now, and it's really annoying. It's really pissed me off because the whole industry in regards to investing and trading has been blurred and, what's the word? It's very misleading to someone who's completely new. They'd see, for example, a commercial about, trade Forex. And then there'd be a woman by the beach and then, Ferrari cars and everything. And then the woman would place a trade in her bikini in the swimming pool, etc. And then it'd show you that she's made profit. Now, what they probably haven't showed you is that woman knows her economic data of when, for example, interest rates rise, or when the US announced their non-farm payroll announcement, or when, for example, interest rates are decreasing, etc., etc. So you still need to understand the basics of economics and economic data, and when not to trade. So it's not just you press a button at when the chart is going up to buy and then you sell when the chart is going down. It's not as simple as that. You have to understand your own, one, your finances, two, economic data and global events, and understand how to read a financial statement. So what shocked me is when I met with some people from our year, I asked them, so what are your assets and what are your liabilities? They had no fucking clue.
Okay.
No clue. And that's shocking. These are people who've gone to university. I mean, I'd imagine, for me, again, I haven't been to university. I'd like to think when you go to university, I'm sorry if you don't know this, by the way.
No, are you okay, go. You go on first.
So I'd like to think when you go to university, this is the stuff they teach, and this is the stuff I was told you'd learn at university. Like, university is the key. You have to go. It will set you up for life. But for most people, from what I've seen, people from our year who've gone to university don't know what an asset or a liability is. That's shocking to me.
Especially if, I guess especially if these people are coming from like business
background. Yeah, of course, exactly. And that's the thing. Some of these guys have done business studies and so on.
I mean, this was some things that we learned in college. Like, obviously, like for me, if you were to say this business and if this podcast business, would you correct me if I'm wrong? Like things like my camera, the cameras, the audio equipment, all of that. These are assets. I guess like
as long
liabilities would
At the end of the day, they can be both.
Okay.
For example, let's just say, obviously, because you mentioned the cameras here, what's the return on investment for using the cameras? Are they generating you income? So obviously, hopefully when you post this and it's making millions,
obviously, yeah,
that's going to be your return.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they get damaged and you have to repair them, then they turn into a liability. Yeah. Same with a car. Let's use that as an example. Yeah. If people who follow me on Instagram, my own girlfriend Lavinia was on the verge of buying. We were literally on the verge of buying a car. Then I literally said to her, babe, if you get this, you'll be tied to your job for 5 years. And don't get me wrong, we could have bought the car outright there and then. That's no problem. But again, it's understanding that concept of, if you take this on, it will in a way become a liability, because then you'd have to pay repayments back. And it wasn't for any job specific purpose. Like, don't get me wrong, if your car literally is for your job, that might be a different story.
Yeah.
Again, it will depend on, okay, this is the expense of using the car, this is the reward from using the car, and so on.
But to understand what the context of it is, understand what the asset is in the context of your situation, understand what a liability is in your context. So then
so what's the return on investment from using it?
Yeah.
So even Facebook, even Instagram, from hanging out with your friends, it's quite bad. One of my friends wanted to meet up, and I was like, yeah, let's meet up. We planned it for months, and then in the end I cancelled, because it's like, okay, what's the return on the investment? We're just gonna gossip. I would end up, people think I like to talk about myself. I don't. Like, especially as she's known me for so long, and like she already knows and stuff, and then it's like, and then she'll start talking about relationships and so on and so on, and it's like, there's no return on investment there for me. Like, she's a good friend, not a very, very close friend, but she's a good friend, and it's just like, I could be doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Rather than doing that. That's not to say I don't have social time, but it's weird. My social time usually turns into business time, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Even for this, I'd take this as business time, even though it's kind of a casual.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because like I kind of, a part of me felt bad that I used to think like that in some way, because it's like, I'm being quite cold with people, like, I'm going to meet up with this person, or they do this and this, like the return on investment would be this, because
me personally, that's a good thing. Because especially as we were on the topic of trading, you need to be unemotional. Trading itself is a business. It's not just something you can whip out on your phone and just press a button and so on. And even in other business, in a way, you do kind of have to be unemotional. like even for my own girlfriend, like there's things I don't get her to do because it's like I need to do them. Like, not saying you can't do it, but I just have to do it. It's just separating that. Obviously you'll have to kind of integrate. I don't want to say find a balance, I hate that word. Integrate the two. So knowing, okay, you know what, maybe I do need to just hang out with my friends a little bit more, not be a cold bastard all the time. It's just integrating the two.
Because sometimes the return on investment could just be, if that's the way we talk about it, the return on investment might just be having a bit more like sanity and a bit more calm.
Yeah, of course.
Because if you're always about business, then that can cause you to lose touch with people.
And I'm glad you said that, because there are different aspects, and we're kind of, you know what, let's touch on that. There are different aspects everyone has to focus on, and this is kind of cliche. This is taken from a guy from YouTube. Health, wealth, love, and happiness, and there are other things that you can fit in there, but those are the main four: health, wealth, love, and happiness. And you'd want to cover each and every one of those aspects. So like today, me being at the gym, that's the health side covered. One thing I've noticed is a lot of guys spend, and I can say this because I was guilty of it, spend so much time in the gym. It's like, yeah, they want to build their physique up, it's obviously for vanity reasons as well. They want to feel good. They want to look good. They want to brag to their friends how big their biceps are. But yet, you're 28 and you still live at home with your mum. Like, what happened? Like, you've focused so much on the gym. Like, do you see what I mean? There has to be
they're obsessed
overall.
with this one thing. Yeah, this one part.
That's just one example. Like, so yes, you will have to have some kind of social aspect. Like, I have friends who literally, I hate to say it, like, I do squeeze in, and we don't really talk about business and all that. They just talk about how much they hate doing this at their job, etc., etc. This girl that they want to, get with, blah blah blah. Like, there's certain circles I have, and you do need to have each part of that fulfilled. That's what I would say in regards to that.
I would like sometimes a good thing is like to have, when you have that social aspect. I like friends who like all they would say is like, oh, this like gossiping, or they literally just say the same, regurgitate the same things over and over. I feel like that's just a waste of time. It's like sometimes what are you really getting from that friendship?
For me, being taught from my mentors is you'll have your red lighters, you'll have your green lighters. The red lighters are the ones who tell you, oh, you can't do that, don't do that. Why would you do that? Like, what waste of time? And your green lighters will be like, you know what, give it a try, see what happens. You'd have to kind of distinguish between the two. Yeah. Like, yes, you've got your social circle, but if those people are constantly like driving you to the ground and telling you can't do shit, get rid of them. And I know some of you say, oh, but they're my close friends. Guys, as bad as it sounds, I've done that to my own mum. Like, that's how serious I am about what I'm trying to do. Like, I love my mum to bits, but when she's telling me I can't do this, I can't do that, go and get a job, blah blah blah, that just drags you down. So you have to cut them out. That's the extreme. I know some people, even if it is your mum or your dad, can't do that for whatever reason. Again, this is just my own extreme way of just getting things done.
Because sometimes like the thing that makes someone a close friend isn't, oh, because I've known this person for X amount of time. It's really the quality of the relationship. Yes. So when people say, oh, I can't cut them loose because I've known them for X amount of time. Since when did the value of a friendship since when was that determined on time? It's the value that you come out of it. So but again, even if it's like, it might be like I wouldn't know how to even do that in your position, like cutting your mom off. But
trust me, that's a very that's not as easy. Like, that was very difficult, but it just got to the point where enough is enough. Literally starting as she began to start to affect my mindset, areas of my life that I obviously are close to me, my relationship, my overall outlook on life. It's weird. Like, a lot of our beliefs are from our own parents. Yeah. Like, you won't realize it, but take money for example. We went to a religious school. Yeah. I'm sure loads of people were taught that money's evil, blah, 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 etc., etc. For me, that's not necessarily true. I mean, at the end of the day, money brings out who you really are. Deep down, money brings out whether you're good or you're evil. So that's just an example. Like, there are other beliefs that our parents probably have installed, but that mindset my mum has, she still has it, is something that I don't want to be a part of my life. So it's just literally, okay, I love you to bits, mum. You're either with me or you're not, but till then, goodbye. Like, yeah.
Because you've already set your path, and you need to walk this path, and anything that's going to drag you.
Of course, without a doubt. Like, anything that keeps me from doing what I want to do, from telling me I can't do something, especially when you're meant to be the main moral support, it's no time for that.
So, like, do you communicate? Is there any communication?
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, of course there is. It's just, it's kind of I don't mention what I'm doing unless I'm asked, but then I know what the response is going to be, kind of thing. Yeah. It's just weird. Even when you are doing well, and you do have the financial backing, it's so weird. Like, it's so true when they say like money doesn't necessarily sort out all your problems, because even though I have that backing, there's still certain problems it won't fix. So I'll say that alongside. So obviously those who are looking to make money and thinking that it's going to sort every single one of your problems out, no, there are still other things that need sorting out by other means besides money. Yeah,
I like to think of money as being energy, like giving you the energy or the means to freedom to do what you want. And the more like energy you have, the more things you can do. But what you use that energy for is up to you. But again, being energy doesn't mean that you, like, when I think of energy, I like to think of it in the analogy of using like Dragon Ball Z. Like the more money you have, the higher power level. But just because you have a higher power level doesn't mean that you're the happiest guy, you're the king of the world. You still have to.
I so wish I'd brought my wallet. I would have loved to have done this with you, but
I saw the thing that you saw
what I did. Yeah. So if you go on my Facebook and you'll see the video, literally, even when someone was speaking to me about this in person, I did this with them. Basically, I just brought out money and started building it up. And my point, and I was basically asking them, what do you think about this? And it started off with £5, £10, £20. We went up to £1,000 basically, and they were giving me things of what it can get them, what it will cover, things they can get, etc., etc. And my main point from that is that most people have this, and don't get me wrong, we will all suffer from it at some point, especially those who have trained our mindset. But there is an emotional attachment people have to money, and that's something. Again, referring this to trading, that you'll have to kind of master and learn to control and notice when it's happening. So when I brought out a £50 note to someone, straight away they told me that will cover them, a week's worth of groceries, etc., etc. And it's just getting rid of that emotional attachment people have. Like, at the end of the day, we can never run out of money. Like, touch wood. Touch wood. Like, but yeah, there's a massive surplus of money. So to have that emotional attachment into thinking that, okay, if I lose this, that's it, this is gone. Nah, that's the wrong mindset to have. And it took me a while to overcome that. Like I said, there are still times when that does happen, but these are with big numbers. These are with big numbers. I'm not saying millions big, but these are in thousands big. So there are times when, for example, like, I'd see on my trading portfolio, like, shit, I'm down 12k. Like, I just think, fuck, that's like a year's salary. Like, shit, I could have done this. But again, that's just, that thing will recover. Right? This is talking trading specifically. The market is mainly in an uptrend anyway. Like, it will have its moments where it's down, but yeah, there's always money everywhere.
So when you look at this, if we were to not say the 12k, if you were to, now if I was to like show you like a £5, £10, 50, 100 up to like 1,000, like, how would you feel when you
straight away? The first thing I think of, what companies can I invest in? That was the mindset there straight away. So if you had presented me with that money, I'd think, okay, what company would be worth buying with that money? I wouldn't just think, okay, I'm going to go and spend groceries with that. Now it's more like, okay, how can I double this? What can I put it into? What business or what project, etc., etc.
So now I understand a bit more about when you were saying, like, say, investing in work. When you had the goal of investing in companies once a month. So it's like, it's not necessarily like, okay, I'm gonna come up with a new idea like once a month. It's seeing whether it's your own idea or seeing if it's like people that are doing anything interesting, you can investing.
Yeah.
That's what you're. That's
So in a
what
way, let me ask you, how much, if you don't mind me asking, obviously, you can give me approximate.
Yeah.
How much have you saved up, and where have you put that money?
I would say since I graduated, I don't know exactly how much.
Just approximate.
Approximate. I would say I haven't made including money that is owed. I would say around like 3,000. Just 3,000.
And now, obviously, the main thing that doesn't really matter about the figure. I was just being sneaky there. Now, where have you put that money?
You mostly in like in all of this stuff like equipment.
I'm quite happy you said that.
I'm
quite happy you said that. Yeah.
In like getting my laptop. Then once I get paid from this other freelancing thing, I'm gonna do I need to buy a new camera because some of this is borrowed. This camera.
Then you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
So whenever I get like paid, obviously pay debts because some of the things I have to do borrow money. But after that, it's like I already have a list. Like actually, you can on my laptop have like this Google Sheet document that has like list of all the like objectives I need to do, but also things I need to buy and invest.
See, good because you've made a plan.
Yeah.
And most people don't have a plan. So the moment they inherit money or take out a loan, straight away that's blown on like a holiday or something. So, but going back to where you put your money, I'm glad you said in this. Cause if you told me, I've got it in NatWest or something, I would be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, but yeah. So, see, that's your situation. For the majority of people, they would have put their money into a savings account, earning 1.2% interest per year. In general, and this is I'm not an investment advisor. Let me just clarify that I'm not qualified in any way, shape or form. But I'd say for people, don't put it in a savings account, put it in an investment account. That's for you to do your own research in, but the returns you get are much better than putting it in a bloody bank account. Those who are interested in trading I'd say to do your own research, educate yourself, stop going Primark, go to WH Smith, order your books, however, like go into Primark and notice the desperation people have to get that last pair of shoes or top or whatever, and then go into WH Smith and just look how quiet it is. It shows people value their clothes more than their education. And this is coming from a guy who used to throw books at people in secondary school, yeah? Let me say that, like, Dan, come on,
I knew exactly
like,
that situation. It wasn't just books.
It wasn't just books, but don't tell the audience other stuff. But this is my point, like, I've read more books in the past, maybe 3-4 years than I did my whole time in secondary and probably primary school. Like, and this is the thing, books, I don't care how you buy your book, personally, my favourite place is going into a bookshop because I've got so many questions and all the answers are there. It's just up to me to find it.
I remember, like, in one of the videos that you had, like, that you posted, I really was inspired when you said that sometimes you go to, like, W.H. Smith, and if you couldn't buy a book, then you would just go there, read it, and, like, have, like, make a little bookmark, and next time you would come in.
When, I can tell people where I work now, it's no problem to me. When I used to work at Easy Gym in Wood Green, literally, there's a W.H. Smith. Those of you who know Wood Green, there's a W.H. Smith literally at the bottom. I either during my break would go there or I'd sneak out. Like, my job was quite laid back in that sense. But literally, I'd go into W.H. Smith, I'd read a book, and then if I wasn't going to buy it, I'd just put something in the book just to remember where my page was, and then obviously hide the book or something. So, I don't recommend doing that if you're working, but
sometimes you do what you have to do. Sometimes sometimes you just need to have a little bit of creativity to get.
Most of the time, I ended up buying the book anyway. Let me just point that out. Like, obviously, it's just for me to get a taster of the book, and then like I used to set myself a goal of buying a book each week. At the end of the week. So every Friday, I'd go into W.H. Smith just before they close around 7, and whatever book I was reading from Monday, no matter whether it's 1 page, 10 pages, I'd go and buy it because obviously it caught my interest. So that was one of my own goals to use my money with, just to go and buy a book each week.
Have you heard of just a side note? Have you heard of this bank called Monzo by any chance?
That's new to me.
Like, everyone has been telling me to get Monzo because they're really good at they cite all these different benefits. Apparently, they're really good at prompting you about how you spend your money. Really good at they're like a really modern techie banking.
I'm quite
service.
old school when it comes to your own finances. Pen, paper, look at your statements, see what's coming in, see what's coming out. Whatever is left, that's your net worth. I'm 2 and 4. Like I love them and I hate them. These are just simple things. Like, this is just an easy way for people to get things done. Like, for the lazy people, so to speak. Like, really, you should know your numbers. At the back of your hand, you should know how much is going in, you should know how much is going out. If you don't, it clearly shows you're not in control of your expenses, what you're buying, and where your money's going. So that would be, even though I don't know what that bank is, that would be my advice to those who are obviously telling you to use that, or who are using it already, or whatever. No, whether it's Monzo or Halifax or whatever other bank is, you should be in control of your own finances. And bank shouldn't be telling you, okay, you're spending this. Obviously, yes, you read the statement, but you should have a pen and paper each month noting down what is costing you and what is making you. Chances are, if you look at your expense column, there's more compared to what's coming in.
Okay. I guess I want to I want to milk all everything.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Literally.
Yeah.
Originally, I was gonna say, Dan, I couldn't be here for an hour, but because it came late, dude, whatever.
How long has it been so far?
46 minutes.
46 minutes. Okay.
Take whatever you. I'll be here all night if you need me, but
no, yeah, don't worry. Okay, we'll do the since you came through the back door, we're gonna actually turn around and actually do the back door thing now. Bum rape time. Okay, you didn't. No, from you, the joke.
Oh yeah.
No, because you didn't laugh, it made it so unfunny.
Yeah. No. Okay. Sorry, guys. I was actually shitting bricks there. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like the poor camera guy over here. Sorry, I forgot his name. He's looking at me serious. Exactly. He's giving me the straight eye, and I'm like, "Fuck!" Like straight away, I wasn't sure whether to punch down or not. Shit. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Sorry, Dan.
No, that's good. No.
That was a joke, people. That was a joke.
Because he thought I was gonna.
Literally, I came here thinking, oh shit. Okay, he said coming through the back rather than the front of the house. Okay, something dodgy is going on here now. I ain't seen this guy in years, and he wants me to come through the back door. So, but okay, no worries.
I guess the only other few things I wanted to catch up with you on was and how has it affected your workout life? Because I knew that. Because I knew that before you used to go to gym quite a lot. I remember I used to see you at Easy Gym when you were training there. When you're working there, and then also when you had some competitions that you did with you in Lavinia as well. Yeah. So do you still do those things as well? So
yes, I still go gym, but now in a way it's quite. This might sound bad to some people, but realistically, it's a priority, but it's not whereby I have to measure the measurement of my bicep serious, if you know what I mean. The health comes first, and then the physique follows. Whereas before it was kind of the other way around. I'd do anything to get big. Yeah. Because that was life's mission at the time, to get big. Big for what? For fuck's sake, you got people in fucking Kenya who don't have the privilege of eating 6 meals a day, and all you're worrying about is fucking getting big. Don't get me wrong, if you can leverage off that and make a business from that, that's different. But if you're just getting big or getting hench for the sake of it, and again, this isn't to hate on people looking to get big and get hench, I just have no interest in that. What I like working on in terms of getting hench and getting big is my bank account. It's just a change of mindset. Getting into business, it's kind of shown a perspective of things. Yes, gym is a priority because of health. Yeah. Without health, without a clear mind, without that de-stress, then the business falls. It's as simple as that. You make stupid choices. You don't think clearly. You can't think straight. If you're unhealthy, most likely your business is unhealthy. It's quite funny because one of the things I look for in people that I do business with is, are they healthy and do they actually do any kind of physical activity? It's not a main priority, but it's something that I consider and I do like think about in regards to doing business with them. So yeah, we did used to compete in bodybuilding before. Man, that was a fun experience. It was an eye-opener. It was an untested show, so from my point of view, when we were queuing up to go on stage in our little briefs, literally you could hear different guys saying, "Oh, so what have you taken?" Blah blah blah, and then they'd say shit like Dynabol, Testo, all that stuff, and it was like, whoa, kind of just. It was an untested show, so obviously when you go in there and you just hear these guys saying that, it's kind of a turn off.
Yeah.
But besides that, I still enjoyed the whole experience. But after that, in a way, kind of made me appreciate things more. So life, for instance, food, definitely food, and just overall enjoying the process. That was always something I wanted to do, and obviously now that I've done it, it's kind of changed the direction that I want to head in. So I'd say fitness has to be part of everyone's life, like whether it's getting up and walking for an hour, going to the gym, whatever, jogging, whatever you, as long as you're moving, and exercising, getting your heart rate going. And obviously that was my background, so at the time I felt compelled to kind of look the part and be all about it. But now it's like, yeah, it's not really it doesn't really cross my mind anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, you'll get that guy who looks like really fucking shredded and huge and like, oh bastard, I wish I could look like that now. But at the end of the day, I know what my priorities are, I know what my goals are. Like I said, health first and then physique will follow, but at the same time I've still got businesses to work on. Like being hench and big, again, unless you make it into a business, is not going to pay bills. It's not going to support your family, your kids or whatever. They don't care how big your fucking biceps are, like, or how big your quads are, whatever, etc. How much you can bench. Like, again, this is for those who aren't looking to make a business from there. If you're a personal trainer, it probably will matter, because this is how you pick up clients. This is how you draw attention to yourself. But if you're just doing it for pure vanity reasons and you're in fucking job seekers, mate, you need to rethink, reevaluate, and look at where your priorities are. So
I see that, because like there's one thing to have like a goal, and another thing where that what is that goal for? Who is that goal benefiting?
It's like my colleagues back at my workplace, some of them, protein shakes, buying, like, because GNC was right outside from where the gym was, so literally any money they got, they spent it there. What was I doing? Investing in businesses. So who was the one who was able to leave and basically work for themselves, and who's still there? Just because of that one choice I made of not spending so much shit on like protein. Don't get me wrong, I did my fair due of spending money on that, but then I realised, okay, no, this is there's no benefit from that. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as your nutrition's on point and you're working out hard, etc., you'll grow. Like, but buying all this stuff for what? Like, it's, in a way, it shows how marketing works. It's just one of those psychological things. When you get into fitness, like really deep, you'll be pushed to buy all this shit, blah blah blah. But in short, when other people were buying protein shakes, friends, colleagues, etc., I was investing my money. So when they were telling me, "Oh, buy this will get you amped up for your workout," motherfucker, I get amped up from drinking green tea. Like, I drink that shit before I go to work and before I go to the gym. And for me, my drive's inside me. It's to challenge me. Like today, I was kind of pissed off because I was trying to do burpees into pull-ups. Like, I couldn't fucking do that. Like, now when I train at the gym, it's more for... That's fucking killer. But now when I train at the gym, because me and Lavinia were looking to start playing American football as a hobby, on the side. So now I'm kind of prepping myself to train for that and change the whole, okay, let's just do bicep curls and shoulder press, that just simple, like one set after another, and kind of change it into more athletic, like explosive stuff. So, I hope that answers your question.
Really, because like now I like that, because before, when I was at the gym, I feel like now I've become more entrepreneurial. It's also affected the way I work out, the way I think about my exercise at the gym. It's like, I'm not just working out I'm not doing these bicep curls so I can get bigger arms, or I'm doing like, how can I be more healthy? So now, like for example, I am doing more. Your
business isn't run on how big your biceps are.
Exactly.
For you individually. So that don't get me wrong. Yes, if you have physique goals, schedule that in, of course. But at the end of the day, you've got a business to run. Like, this is stuff. Unless you plan on making a business from your physique, that's a different story. We can spend hours talking about that. But in regards to this business, it's not reliant on how big your biceps are.
And for those people, and for people, and we're talking about biceps and working out, and I feel like this can still apply to whatever people's like hobbies and desires are. Because some people have like, some people may be fanatic about working out, but maybe might be
then
apply
that. And this is where I'm thankful I kind of fell into the fitness and the whole bodybuilding thing, etc., because I got the drive, determination, discipline, and consistency from doing that, and I've applied it to business. So this is why I can't really knock fitness and bodybuilding too much, because at the end of the day, it was how I started, and it's what I've learned from and applied to other areas of life. So can't really knock it too much.
That exercising and martial arts, because of when I was practicing judo, that discipline and that just being in that mental state. Have you read actually there's a few books I wanted to know if you've read by any chance. The one book I was wanted to ask you about was this book called Hooked. It was by the I think it was written about Uber and all these app companies, about how to make like a successful.
Uber's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
a really
random moment there.
And then there's a few like the Lean Startup.
Yes.
The Book of Five Rings was just another one that I wanted to throw.
That's a new one. That's a new one.
I actually, before you go, I'll give you like the Book of Five Rings.
Okay, awesome.
I think I'll give you the Book of Five Rings, and I'll give you. You've probably already read the Lean Startup, right?
Yeah.
I don't have Hooked. I need to read Hooked. But when I finish it, then any books I think that you'll like, I'll just throw it your way.
That's awesome, man.
Because I think you actually really appreciate it.
Yeah,
so
without a doubt.
Because
best thing I can give you is a bloody leaflet in regards to if you know anyone selling their property.
Oh yeah, property. Yeah, I actually before anything, because property is one of those things that is never. It's always good to buy property.
Yes.
There's never a bad moment. People always saying like buy property, buy property.
Never wait to buy now.
Yeah. What is it about property that makes it so like good to invest in?
Okay. How do you plan on buying your own property, first of all?
Like how?
Yeah. So for you. So I have to, in order for me to speak about property, I have to start from the very, very beginning. Sorry, I don't know if I'm tuning into your guys' time.
No. There's no, like, this is a conversation. Don't worry about time. We'll end it in the right moment. Okay.
So have you put anything aside for saving for your own place?
At the moment, no. I'm just gonna be honest. No, I haven't, because it hasn't been a priority for me right now. But
camera guy at the back, nothing.
No.
So, oh man, guys, come on. No, I'm joking. All right, so. Even then, you're not the only one. Like most people haven't, especially those our age. So my point is, so how do you plan on buying and getting your own place? Unless you're fortunate enough to inherit money, or your parents pass down their property to you. My point is, even if you'd given me an answer that you'd saved the money, I would have still said this. So most people on average put away £200-300, just to save up for a deposit, because you need around 10-20% to basically as a deposit to get a mortgage. So say if you're going, let's say you need 10%. Say you're going for a house that's worth 300,000. So you need what? If my maths is correct here, correct me if I'm wrong, people. 30,000 to save up. Give or take. So say you save £300 each month. So what's that? Times 12 in a year, 3,600. How long is it going to take you to save up for that deposit? If you need 30,000 and you're getting 3,600 a year saved up, if you're lucky, by the way, that's going to take you over 9 years, if I'm correct. I don't have a calculator on me, people, but if I'm correct, over 9 years to save up. But your house at that time, the one you wanted to get, that you're saving up for, costs 300,000. What happens to property prices? They go up. So now that 300,000 is now 600,000. You've just saved what? How much? 30,000. So you now need 60,000. So what I'm trying to get at here, people, is saving up for a deposit. You may as well use that for something else, because that's never going to happen.
Yeah, just chase and drag.
Unless
no one can catch
you're very, very fortunate enough to have a very, very, very high paid job, then chances are you'll be renting or you'll be living with parents. And what I find is most people are living with parents. So again, going back to why I'm saying this is, my point is, if you're saving up for a property, you've got a long way to go. So how do you plan on getting into property? So now that we're kind of talking about it, for investing in property. So you asked me, why would you want to invest in property, right? Point is, you want to be investing in property because at the end of the day, property is one of the most secure investments you can make. You can benefit from the rental income as well as the capital appreciation, so the increasing value a property has. How you go about it, again, you have to treat it like a business, and that's what we're doing. So how I kind of stumbled across this is going back to 2008 in regards to my mum and my parents at the time, when they'd purchased a house in the Philippines. That was chewing into their income a lot. That was affecting us here because obviously they have to pay off the mortgage, etc., etc. So that kind of caught my interest in property, but only recently, to about maybe 2 years, that I was actually reading up and looking into it a little bit more. And then 4 or 5 months ago, that's when I started my actual property business, and that was just from reading a book. I didn't pay for anything. I just started and just was reading a book.
Which book?
So there's a book called Property Entrepreneur.
Okay.
These guys are like my main mentors, and again, there's another book called The Wealth Dragon Way. It will talk about different types of investing, mainly property, but I'd say for those who are looking to get started and to get into it, that would be a good way to start. But you really do have to understand key terms when it comes to property. So you have to understand a mortgage, loan, etc., etc., assets and liabilities once again. And yeah. I hope that answered your question. I'm not sure if that did.
Well, it gave me a bit of more understanding, but I was keen on, for someone like me, who I haven't put any money down yet for any property or anything. Let's say from right at the beginning, what would I need? What are the key things I would need to know, or anyone would need to know about property, investing in property?
So, obviously, if you have no money to invest in property, then you're kind of stuck in a way. So the first thing I'd say is to educate yourself, read as many books, research how to invest in property, literally. And then from then, you'd want to surround yourself with investors. Again, this is how I started. Once reading a book, taking action from what I've read in the book, and then surrounding myself with investors. So what you'll see on my Instagram is I go to a lot of networking and business events.
Networking is really key.
These are all people who have money but don't have the time to look for these investments. So what does my business do? Source these investments for these investors. And then they'll pay you just for doing that. So obviously there's more specific, so there are certain criteria, but basically how I started off in property was by selling leads to investors. So these leads are information of people who are looking to sell their property. And then what investors will do is offer them money, but at a discount of the actual property value. Reason why they do that is so they can they're instantly in profit from the moment they purchase that house. Reason being, it acts as a buffer. The discount will act as a buffer when they purchase the property. So if house prices fall, they won't be affected. And then as soon as they start to go back up, they benefit from the appreciation alongside the rental income.
I see.
If your parents already own a house, they already technically are investing in property. Especially if the mortgage is paid off, or it doesn't really matter if the mortgage is or isn't paid off. How someone can easily sell a house or make money from investing in property, I could tell you right now, it's called a double settlement. You can Google it. Chances are you won't be able to do it because of certain tools you need. So for example, very quickly, if someone's selling their house for 300,000 and I negotiate with them to buy it for 250, who the fuck has 250 on them? Let's be serious here. Most people won't have 250 pounds on them. Note this down, people. This is very important. I'm about to give away something that we kind of do So they're selling a house for 300k, and I negotiate with them for 250. So this is all done in contract. So what will happen is I'll establish a contract where I'd have the right to buy the property, but not the obligation to.
Okay.
And there'll be a period time, so 3 months, let's just say. Okay, so I don't have £250,000. I've just said to this seller I'm going to buy his house. We've just negotiated a contract. It's all written down, la-di-da. Where am I going to get that money from? Okay, so someone out there needs to buy a property. So what do? Oh yeah, I'm in a obliged contract with a seller. I can sell you this property for 280. So where does that difference? Remember, I have a 3-month exclusivity.
Yeah.
So where does that difference go to?
Yes, you.
Me. So that's one of the ways. Those are one of the methods. That's very generic and very basic. I've left out things there purposely.
Yeah.
Because I know I'd rather people do their research on that than me just giving it out just like that. Because at the end of the day, you're still going to need a solicitor. So who's in your team? So this is why I started, again, this is why you have to start as a business in regards to property, in regards to property investing. You have to have it as a team. So there are certain key characters you'll need for that. And again, how do you meet these people? At networking events. Whether it doesn't have to be property related. It could be anything. It could be trading. It could be an event about eBay, for Christ's sake. At the end of the day, there are people out there who have skills that you'll need. Yeah. So your network is your net worth.
That's good.
So literally, that's a quote from one of my mentors. Guys,
Yeah,
let me just, I can't say that's mine, but
yeah, but even he probably heard it.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
It's not who you know, it's who knows you, and what do they know about you that you do, that they can go and recommend to someone else. So again, if you're not a people's person, then you're in business. You really need to be. Like a lot of people, when I tell them that I'm in property, they think I'm a landlord by fixing toilets and shit, and it's like, not really, to be honest. I help people who really need to sell their property by linking them up with investors who can buy their property, who have no problem buying their property, obviously at a discounted value, but we help those people. It's a people business. So yeah,
that's a key thing to for people to note down as well, is that when you like a I always heard from, I think I heard it from Elon Musk. It was like all a business is a group of individuals who are coming together to make an idea happen, and the quality of that business is depending on the people and the idea. But if you have an idea but the people aren't good enough, don't have the quality to execute it well, then it's a bad business.
This is the thing. One thing I've found, surrounding myself with people who claim to be so-called entrepreneurs. I don't call myself that. I might use hashtags in that to target my audience on Instagram, for instance, but I personally don't. I feel like I don't have the right to call myself that yet. But there are people out there, like, for fuck's sake, working in Starbucks and then doing something on the side and then say that they're an entrepreneur. Me personally, I don't know if this will offend you guys. I'm really sorry, but
even if it did,
if you have a job and you're doing a business on the side, you're not an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur takes risks. He jumps off a cliff and he builds wings on the way down. It's as simple as that.
I love that as well.
It's as simple as that. I know some people get butthurt over that, but like I said, I was thrown into this because I planned to work in the banking industry. I didn't plan to make fucking eBay business and then get into property, etc. Even though I wanted to, I didn't plan to. So in a way, I had no choice. Well, I did have a choice. Either apply for another job or take the risk. But I'd rather people take risks now than take them later when they're 40 years old and they've got kids to feed. This is like something I was trying to drill into my mum, is like, look, support me. I'm young. Let me do this. Give me a year. And then if things don't work out, okay, you know what, you win. Like, so if you're young, I'd say take as many risks as possible. Like, not just in business, in life, life
this
itself.
Is the time to do it.
Yeah. Like, then you're young. Like, even in trading, disclaimer, like, not qualified to say this, but just as an example, even if you leverage a trade by 1,000, so for example, the platform or the broker will give you 1,000 plus on that. So do 100 times 1,000, they'll give you X amount. So you're trading with more money than you actually own. Even if you do that, that's still a risk. You're still taking a risk, but it's all about managing those risks you take. So whatever situation you get yourself into from taking those risks, accept it and make that decision right, or at least try your hardest to. So yeah, that would be my piece on this. It's just like, it's really annoying when I go to these events and then they're like, especially the older people, like especially the older attendees, is like they call themselves entrepreneur, but then they're working somewhere else and then they're doing their business on the side. I'd say go all in. Like, don't get me wrong, at some points, yes, you will need money to, obviously, for your business. But then this is where commercial finance comes in. Ever heard of that term?
Not explained.
So there are people out there who will give you money, obviously for an interest rate in return, for your business.
Okay.
A lot of people would think, okay, just to work or go to a bank for a bank loan where they'll charge you 18.59% interest. I mean, come on, like that's ridiculous. There are angel investors. There's a website called GoFundMe.com.
Exactly.
Where you can just put in your business idea. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be hard, but once you actually market it and advertise it, there are key things you have to remember. What your venture, what value is it bringing? And it took me a while to really understand that is, what difference is your business going to make to people's lives? What value is it going to bring? Is it just purely for your own sake? Like those who are included in my property side, the value they get is they learn these techniques that I've been taught, that I'm applying. They learn that they don't have to take out a mortgage to buy their own property. They learn that, for example, rather than renting, literally giving money to their landlord and then that's it, they can go on a rent to buy. That's what I'm on. So me and my landlord have agreed that at a fixed price, the price will stay the same no matter what. If the property goes up, I'm paying you rent which goes towards purchasing the house at a fixed price today. So if the property is worth 300,000 today, if in 5 years time it's worth 600,000, I'm still buying it at 300,000. All that rent goes towards it. Obviously I'm paying a premium and I've put up an upfront deposit, but these are some of the methods. So that's the value I bring. I pass on everything I know, and obviously it's for their own experience. So people in those who've joined me on the property side, they learn how to understand people's backgrounds and reasons why they're selling, and learn how to speak to people. In a way, sales, so to speak. So it's just the value that you bring. Like no matter what your business venture is, make sure it brings value.
I think we should wrap it up because of time. Is it
1 hour 11 minutes.
Okay, I think that's a good amount of time. Thank you very much, Aryan, for coming on.
That's awesome, man. I enjoyed it.
Is there before we wrap it up, is there any like last thoughts or anything that you want to plug? Maybe people can follow you online, or where can they find you for? Yeah,
you can follow me on Instagram. So Aryan Chavda 0602. Don't ask about the name.
We'll have the description and the link in the description.
Really, all I'm doing on there is just documenting my journey, like of what I'm doing. So probably after we finish today, or as long as you're okay with it, if I can just like record
your
little studio and then I'll upload that, because it's like a little memory file. To show people what I'm doing, and like just as a reminder for me as like my own journey, so to speak. And just to hustle, like literally people, especially those who know us, bear in mind from 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 5 years, where was I on Facebook? Where was I on social media? I was a ghost. I was gone. Why is it only now I've been appearing on there? Do you see my point? So I kept quiet for all those years, working on my own self and my own businesses, etc. And now I'm kind of giving it out there now to people. So I just say, just hustle and work. And just do whatever it takes. Like don't give in to the easy route. Like you'll have people who tell you that you can't make it and so on, but then they're just words, and it's just because they can't do it. So there's no reason why you can't.
In the words of Bruce Lee, don't pray for an easy life.
Yes.
Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one.
Absolutely.
Or be like water. Yeah, I love that.
Be like water.
Anyway, thank you, Aryan, for coming on
awesome,
again.
Dan. Pleasure.
Lovely to talk to you.
Lovely to talk to you, Dan. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope you found the conversation enjoyable and interesting. If you did enjoy the podcast, do support us by liking and sharing the podcast with your friends. You can follow us on Facebook at It's Not an Interview, and you'll get updates on future episodes and clips. You'll be able to comment on posts to continue the conversation, and you'll also be able to have quick access to the podcast on Soundcloud, YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher. You can also find the podcast on any podcasting app that you use. Just search for It's Not an Interview and you should find us. Again, thanks for listening and thank you for your support. Your support is extremely appreciated.